All right, what's going on, everyone? How you all doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and today is the 7th of February, 2018. And there's actually a fair amount of stuff to talk about. Like, nothing supremely huge, with the exception of some trailers we'll be looking at towards the end of the broadcast. But for the most part, make sure that's off. For the most part, I think things are going to be okay. I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be good. So let me just quickly send out the link here. Make sure I'm a couple minutes behind today, only because, I had to take care of my daughter. You think you got her on a schedule? Nah, you don't got a 2-month-old on a schedule. So. So yeah, it's all right. Let me just youtube.com. There we go. Forget. I should just save this as a draft and then just have it post. Right? That would be easier. That'd be so much easier. Okay. So there shouldn't be any audio issues today in terms of playback. I made sure to remove all that. Yesterday was a tad bit on the embarrassing side in regards to all that. It was definitely embarrassing because that's like, I'm more professional. Did that light turn on? Okay. Fuck. I have this light back there. It's a touch light, and it keeps turning on and turning off. So it really kind of screws me up. So, what is everyone up to today? What's on your mind, movie-wise and stuff? There seem to be moments of sporadic lagging. Well, that would be on your end. I'm pushing out 3,300 kilobits a second. So, we're definitely rocking at minimum a 1280 by 720 stream. Would love for it to be, I'd love for it to be 1080. But that's why I record the segments as we go through it, and then that's why I segment them out later on for production. So there's definitely that. But otherwise, yeah, there shouldn't be any lag. Let me just quickly go through and double check everything else. Make sure that's not up. Okay, no, we're good there. Let's see. And stuff looks good here. No, wait, we're getting feedback again. Where the fuck is that coming from? What the hell, man? Oh my god. Okay. Well, okay, you guys can't hear that, but like I could hear it through my headset. So, that pissed me off. Okay. So, I'm like sitting there, I can hear it talking. Yesterday what it was is I had OBS turned up. And so whatever you heard on the screen or on the computer is coming through. Today it likes to bring up automatically. The stream likes to automatically play on a browser when I use it to read the chat. So it's unfortunate. Mr. Pete, you can become a moderator. That is perfectly fine. The Streamlabs, if you check the hypothesis, if you check the links below, you can see Streamlabs there. I don't have it where it's running on screen though. I'll get the notification and I can talk about it, but I don't have it set up just yet for that. So that's the next step of things right there. So MCOC Josh, I have not seen the Jessica Jones trailer yet. That's actually something we're going to watch together. I haven't seen Deadpool. I haven't seen Jessica Jones. I thought I'd wait. I thought I would try and get us to the point of get us all there together. That's the goal. That's the goal here. Ooh, very nice. Very, very nice. Getting some nice updates there from stuff. So yeah, we're gonna go through all that stuff. Elliot Corley says Dunno Solo looks pretty cool. The Solo, I am not against the trailer that I saw. Aesthetically, it looks pretty cool. We are going to be talking a little bit about Han Solo and that today. A small little story that I find to be interesting, but it's one that I feel has a little bit of spin attached to it. It's one of those things being created, pushed out there by Lucasfilm to kind of say, like, everything is fine, you know? So, okay. So you send a Streamlabs. I have not gotten that yet. It will go through. I'll get a. Let me bring up Streamlabs over here. Okay. I've been reading up a lot of this commentary surrounding Cloverfield Paradox, right? And I find that to be super interesting. Let's see. Hypothesis sent a $5 Streamlabs asking, how much do those 14 words cost? Well, if you are unfamiliar with the 14 words, it is a saying that that white supremacists like to use, right? Racists like to use. And as a result of that, there's an ongoing gag with my other stream on my main channel, Mundane Matt, where if you want me to say the 14 words, it costs $50 USD. Oh yeah, no, I'm sure to make it American dollars at this point. So yeah, that's what I sell it for. That's what I sell it for and everything else. So there's definitely that. Hey, what's going on, Frank? Baphomet, Disney ruins Deadpool 2. No, Disney's not going to touch Deadpool 2. Deadpool 3, on the other hand, yeah, maybe. X-Force, maybe. But again, we will definitely jump into that here. So we've been up for a few minutes. Just want to give it a couple minutes more. What do I think is going to make more money? Ant-Man and the Wasp or Aquaman? Landon, I'm going to say probably Ant-Man and the Wasp. You know, I mean, a December release for Aquaman, when it appears there's not a lot coming out at that time that's going to be big. Like there's no superhero movies in November. You got Fantastic Beasts, but that's coming out right at Thanksgiving. Early in November is Wreck-It Ralph 2. December looks pretty open for the most part. So I think Aquaman will do well then. But Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to be the 20th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, coming right off of Avengers Infinity War from a month and a half earlier, or 2 months earlier. Yeah, I'm thinking that Ant-Man and the Wasp is probably going to do better, considering that the first one did well enough to warrant a sequel, and Ant-Man was a highlight of Civil War and Evangeline Lilly, and yeah, I think it's going to do more. Disney doesn't own Fox till the end of the year. Disney doesn't own Fox until probably sometime next year. They said it would take 2 years for the deal to go through. So we're talking like Q4 2019, right? Essentially. So I think that's kind of where things are going to be. Oh, Disney's releasing Mary Poppins Returns. You know what? I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of high hopes for Mary Poppins Returns. I just don't. I know they're trying to push Lin-Manuel Miranda, right? Like, you know, coming off of Hamilton, and of course his work on Moana was good, but they're trying to make him the new Dick Van Dyke, and he's not the new Dick Van Dyke. Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins could work out. I think she could probably play the part okay, but then again, she's also not Julie freaking Andrews. You know, so it's going to be really, really, really hard, I think, ultimately to make that work in the way that they want, if I'm being fair. But then again, we also haven't seen anything other than a couple screenshots from pictures, stills from the movie. So I'm not too sure. This could be another one of those. What was the one, the Poppins movie that came out a couple years ago about the making of the movie, which is actually really good in terms of a biopic. So I'll have to wait and see. Yes, can we get this stream to 1,000 likes? That would be amazing. That would be great. That's right, Linda. I totally forgot about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It comes out the same day as Bumblebee. Well, then I'm wrong. Totally wrong there. There's major competition. I guess I'm not thinking that far ahead yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not thinking that far ahead, but you are right. You are right. Those movies are coming out. So there's a lot of heavy competition. And so there's definitely that. Saving Mr. Banks. That's right. Please rewind. That's right. Hey, Curtis, what's going on? I'm going to make you a moderator in here as well. Megan Fox's Mary Poppins. Listen, I have no problem getting to the point of, you know, I don't want to look at Mary Poppins as being like a sexual creature, you know, but like Megan Fox riding that kind of umbrella pole would be very interesting. So, who is... I see Please Rewind is in here. People are recognizing him. I'm not too sure. Oh, all right. Hey, what's... Oh, okay. Oh wow, man. You've you get lots of views on your shit. Good for you, man. Good for you. Okay, cool. Let's start 10 minutes in. I don't want to take up everyone's time. I only have an hour today, so let us jump into it here. Someone just sent me some stupid fan art, like, or comparing me, I should say, to someone in Portugal. So there's that. Okay, where's my browser at? There we go. I want to make sure everything is ready to go. Okay, so as we can see, Star Wars, right? You know, there's clearly going to be talking about Star Wars a couple times in this episode because, well, it's Star Wars. But first, we're going to run through some quick news here. And this is stuff that was sent to me that I do want to touch upon because I think it is pretty cool. But Donnie Yen confirms that Sleeping Dogs movie is in development. And this is pretty cool because I don't know about you, but I've been a fan of Sleeping Dogs for a while. The game, when it came out in 2012, was definitely a fun game, and they've been rumored to make a movie of it for a long time. It was, you know, it was True Crime 3 essentially, and it was one that I really enjoyed. I even have the PS4 remaster of it. Now, it says here that Rogue One, a Star Wars story star Donnie Yen recently confirmed that the movie adaptation is underway. Reports of a movie version of Square Enix Sleeping Dogs have been lingering around for a year now, when Deadline initially reported that Yen would be starring in the movie. The actor is known for his work in Rogue One, as well as his role in the Ip Man series. Yen shared a post on Instagram that showed two side-by-side images that came together to make a clear reference to his upcoming role in the Sleeping Dogs movie. If the images themselves weren't enough of a hit, Yen captioned the post with a direct reference to the acclaimed game, saying, "Sometimes great things take a bit of time. Sleeping Dogs is in motion. You guys ready for this?" And yeah, I am so ready for this. The game was a lot of fun. I would love to see a sequel to the game. I would love to see this thing come to light because ultimately video game movie adaptations are tough, right? People either really want to see him or they don't want to see him for fear of the movie sucking. And in many cases, the movies can suck, okay? Like, just look at almost every single Uwe Boll film. With the exception of Postal, I only say that because Postal was a movie that knew exactly what it was, and it set out to do what it did, and it did it perfectly for the tone of the film. Every other video game adaptation that man has made has been pretty god-awful. The only one that's come close to being just, like, moderately okay, I think, was Far Cry. Only because it was more based around the first game, and it was a decent sci-fi film if you don't look at it from a video game movie perspective. Plus, I like Til Schweiger, so there's that. But yeah, so we're looking at here, in addition to sharing the images on his Instagram account, Yen shared similar images throughout Twitter. He linked to his Facebook page where the same caption referencing Sleeping Dogs was provided. So basically, yeah, if this dude is not only going on Instagram, but Twitter and Facebook to talk about this movie, he's pimping it pretty hard. He's pimping it pretty hard. And I would argue that right now with like the development of Tomb Raider, the film coming out next in like 5 or 6 weeks, that movie coming out, and Square Enix owned games or produced games or published games really that are going to be coming down the pipeline film wise is pretty cool. I mean, they are working on a Hitman TV series, even though that's now completely away from Square Enix, but I do think that was announced just after IO Interactive left. But yeah, so we got this, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. But this popped up today, right? Venom. Now, all we've got right here is this teaser image, which looks pretty cool, just very simple, very, very effective, very to the point. And it's coming out in October. It's going in real 3D and IMAX. So Sony wants to make sure that in October, you have your butts in the seats to watch Venom, probably leading in, obviously, to the December release of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So we're getting 2 Spider-Man related films within months of each other at the end of the year, right? We've already seen the first teaser for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty top-notch in terms of animation, and it's all about Miles Morales, but now we're getting Venom. And the trailer for Venom drops tomorrow, so on tomorrow's show, we'll be doing a live reaction to that, and I'm excited. I'm excited because I want to know how bad this movie is going to be. I do. I want to know how bad this movie is going to be. Now, there are people out there that have ascertained the belief that, no, Venom is going to be great. Venom is going to be awesome. Ruben Fleischer is directing it. Yes, but Ruben Fleischer has also only made one good movie, and that was Zombieland from 2009. And the thing was, part of a lot of what made Zombieland work was not only the actors, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, Abigail Breslin, Bill Murray's cameo appearance, but also the screenplay by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who are the guys who went on to go write Deadpool. Those guys were able to craft a movie, a script that was very, very, very darkly comedic, and Ruben Fleischer was able to then capitalize on that comedy. But look at his follow-up movie, right? His follow-up film from 2011, just 2 years later, was 30 minutes or less. Yeah, 30 minutes or less, a movie that is about a pizza delivery boy who gets a bomb strapped around his neck and has to go rob a bank before the bomb blows up. It also is based on a real story. They took a real thing that happened in 2002, or yeah, I think 2001, 2002, in like Erie, Pennsylvania, and they turned it into a dark, dark comedy starring Jesse Eisenberg and Aziz Ansari, and Danny McBride and Bianca Colic and Fred Ward and a bunch of other people. But the idea there is that it's this true story that is really horrific when you think about it. Even though the pizza delivery boy that's in reality was in on it, and Jesse Eisenberg was just a useful idiot, it's, you know, didn't really go over very well. Then Fleischer also had Gangster Squad, which, well, you know, the whole James what's his name, James Holmes, Aurora, Colorado shooting. So you've got that. And they changed the ending of that movie, and the movie wasn't very good. Warner's just got scared and just kind of basically crapped it out in January of 2013, just as a way to forget about it. And the guy hasn't really done much since. But the big kicker here, and the one that everyone's looking forward to, is Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock as Venom. Now, that is ultimately what I believe is going to be the primary seller, not the director, who I can go off on about for a while. But Tom Hardy. Now, Hardy, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this, mostly because, well, Bane. You'll never be able to walk away from Bane, ever, especially when it comes to dealing with superhero materials. Now, this is probably his way of trying to distance himself from that performance. And even though it's been almost 5.5 years since that movie came out, that voice and that portrayal is permanently etched in superhero movie history, and it's brought up all the time. I think now more of a meme, but still, Hardy is a fantastic actor. But this movie feels to me, and I'm saying this with just pure speculation, it feels to me like Sony is just hurting for ideas. Sony's like, oh crap, what do we do? How do we get past this? How do we make this thing great? And how do we make a lot of money doing it? And it's the wrong way to tackle a movie like this, right? This is running not even in the MCU, right? I think it's going to run parallel to the MCU. I think there's going to be vague references to the events of Spider-Man Homecoming. I think it's going to have, we've heard the rumor that you know, Tom Holland will appear not as Spider-Man, but as Peter Parker because of the Venom Parker rivalry that's in the comics. I think we might get a tease for Carnage, and that might be something Sony wants to do. Now, tomorrow we'll have a better idea as to what to expect in terms of how they put this forward. But I feel like they have rushed this. They started filming the movie back in October. And now we're getting a teaser trailer, or I think we're getting a full trailer actually. I don't know. But I'm not holding out hope, to be honest with you. I'm just not holding out hope at all. But Star Wars. Now, the subject of Star Wars has been very interesting recently. I don't feel we've gotten this much diverse news for Star Wars in quite some time. You know, following the release of The Last Jedi and the weird buildup to the release of the Solo trailer, people asking whether or not it was going to be any good, and almost looking at the way Disney was kind of hiding all marketing material for it as an indication that they were writing it off. Never mind all the reports that they were writing it off. But we look at this sort of thing now and we're like, yeah, Star Wars, it's been kind of hit or miss. We find out yesterday that D.B. Weiss and David Benioff of Game of Thrones fame are writing a whole new series of films that apparently, according to Bob Iger, are not supposed to be a TV series, But as I predicted, and I want to stand by that, they are going to eventually turn it into a series, because after I got done recording last night, this story dropped where Disney is developing multiple Star Wars shows for their streaming service. And if you recall, I made a big deal about that. Because that's what they're going to want to do in order to take some of the heat off of Netflix, right? Take some of the fame away from Netflix, as well as take a couple jabs at HBO by taking their top creators and bringing them over to Disney streaming. Probably where they're going to have full control to adapt the properties and not be bound by an author who can't finish the books that he writes. Yeah, George R.R. Martin, I'm looking at you, buddy. But let's see what it says here. Last fall, it was revealed that Disney was developing a live-action Star Wars series to debut on the company's Untitled streaming service, which launches in 2019. Today, Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed during an earnings call that several Star Wars shows are currently in development. Now, keep in mind that you got to go back to when Lucas had okayed for the Clone Wars to go to Cartoon Network. When they okayed that show, at the same time, they were also developing like I think it was like a comedy. They were doing like a comedy set in Star Wars. There was other TV shows that were being talked about at the time. They never came to fruition, but Star Wars Clone Wars was allowed to continue, and it had a bumpy first couple seasons, but then it hit its stride and has led very much into how well Star Wars Rebels has done, which is almost coming up on its final half of its final season, and I think things are going to get super freaking emotional. So there's that to consider. But they've always been talking about Star Wars TV shows, and now we're getting a lot more confirmation. In fact, this is what Iger says. He says, "We are developing not just one, but a few Star Wars series specifically for Disney direct-to-consumer app. We've mentioned that we're close to being able to reveal at least one of the entries that is developing for us. Because the deal isn't completely closed, we can't be specific about that. I think you'll find that level of talent on the television front will be significant as well," which tells me J.J. Abrams is involved. No, let's take a quick look at this for a second, right? What happened with J.J. and Star Trek? Okay, so in 2009, we got J.J.'s reboot of Star Trek, which, look, it was definitely more aimed for, like, the millennial audience, but, man, did I freaking love that movie. And the idea there, essentially, was because J.J. had come off of doing Alias and come off of doing Lost and Fringe and a couple other shows he had done for television, the idea there was to take this new universe and move that from theaters, from the silver screen, into television. But the deals between CBS, Paramount, and I guess you could say Viacom failed to just materialize. And as far as I remember, everything went tits up. It just went to crap. And so that ultimately led, I think, to JJ jumping ship after Into Darkness and going over to direct The Force Awakens. And then I think in order to make sure that he came on to direct Episode 9, which, to be fair, is a very safe bet on Kathleen Kennedy's part, the idea there was to bring in Bad Robot and to do a TV show for that. I have a feeling that the deals we're going to see, maybe not this first one, but definitely down the road, we are going to get J.J. Abrams' series. And I think what we're going to see is a setup from Episode 9 is going to then lead in to this series and continue on with certain characters. That is my theory. I could be wrong, but it's just a film or TV. I can't do a Matt Pat. I'm sorry. That's not my shtick, and I don't want to steal it. Now, details regarding the several Star Wars shows remain under wraps. Currently, Lucasfilm's only Star Wars show, Star Wars Rebels, returns February 19th for its final 6 episodes. And yeah, that's going to be a tough one to watch, that is. But when you look at the idea here of the Star Wars series and what they're trying to go for, you can basically see what's going on. Like, you know that they're going to just pummel this series or this streaming app with Star Wars series. They're going to have many because they know that there is a demand for one, and they know that they want to take some of the love away from Netflix. And that makes sense. That does make sense. So we'll have to wait to see what's going on. But this is a new area for Disney. Disney specializes in half-hour, kid-friendly format stuff. You know, even on ABC's Freeform network, you get some teen melodrama, you know, like The Fosters or Switched at Birth, which I will actually fully admit, Switched at Birth is a good show. But then you've got Cloak and Dagger coming out through there, which I saw like the opening couple minutes of that, and it just did not really, she can shoot light daggers. Woo! He can control the darkness. Woo! It's just nothing about that seems interesting to me. But with Star Wars, they have to treat this like it's going to be a a straightforward adaptation. They can play with some genres a little bit, and I hope to God they never give us a Star Wars sitcom. And that has been talked about before, as I mentioned earlier in this piece. They've talked about that, and nobody, I think, really wants it. But what they need to do is they need to tell the story of the Old Republic. They need to give us the Revan series as an actual freaking series. Like, give us Knights of the Old Republic, and have that whole thing go down. And I think a lot of fans, who have been waiting, it's been 15 years since the release of Knights of the Old Republic, have been waiting for a true adaptation of that to come out, film-wise or TV series-wise, or hell, even a third game people had set it for now. And of course, you have EA, their MMO, The Old Republic, which I'm sure there's a whole litany of content there they could take and turn into something that would still be more enjoyable than The Old Republic as a whole. So you've got a lot that they can pull from. And they're always expanding on their new EU. And the thing is that the theatrical side of things, the theatrical movies, haven't really been dealing a lot with the story group. The story group is dealing more with the ancillary content, which I find to be interesting. And that actually was one thing that was brought up yesterday, was kind of like, it was a hashtag I coined last night that was Star Wars So White, where people were complaining about how like 93% of people who've like written Star Wars or directed Star Wars have all been white men or something. And that was a big pushback from feminists. And that was actually something going on today, which there was a comment made by Disney saying, oh, well, we've already brought in more women and people of color to take on these roles before this announcement even went out there. So they're at this point trying to play damage control, which is very apparent. This is what they're doing. You can easily tell this is what they're doing, and it may not go over very well with certain fans, simply because it feels like pandering. Me personally, just if I'm getting on my own soapbox here, I tend to look at Hollywood from a true meritocracy. I look at it from being like a place of, yes, we need to have, people who are the best at what they can do be the ones running these shows, right? We need fewer Brian Fullers who exits every show he works on. And we need more people who are going to be able to run the shows, tell the good stories, get the good performances, and give us solid television. And if this is what they're doing with Star Wars for the streaming service, which ultimately is what I believe that this is where we're going to see stuff. Mostly, and just as a quick side thing, looking at the Rian Johnson trilogy, looking at the Game of Thrones guys doing their trilogy or their series of films, as well as the Solo movie coming out and Star Wars Episode 9, the production slate for these movies are going to be pretty full over the course of the next couple years. And unless Star Wars wants to go full on Marvel and start dropping 3 films in a year, which is going to be a lot, on top of also having other Marvel films that they come out every single year, you could run into some level of fatigue, and I don't think they want to do that. So when I see them talking about bringing in these writers and everything else, it has everything to do with going to the streaming service. So that is going to be where Disney is going to focus a lot of its effort in terms of Star Wars and secondary platforms. So I just find it to be interesting, but at the same time, I also really just want to wait and see where things are going to go. All right, water break. I drink some water. We'll look at some questions real quick. What you guys are saying about that. So what do you think? Star Wars show going to be any good? Venom look any good? Sleeping Dogs is going to be good? Let me know real quick, because I got it, like my mouth is really dry, so I kind of want to do a couple stories, take a break, and then go from there. Okay, so that was 3 stories. There's okay, I'll do the other one I want to do, and I will save the other 2 for tomorrow. Yeah, because they're kind of like, they're not time sensitive or nothing. So that's fine. That's fine. There's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of little things that I found. So Disney loves left-wingers. Disney, I mean, they do. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. So you still want to see the Obi-Wan movie. I still think we're going to get an announcement on that one. Planet Schlock, it's okay. There's going to be a replay of this. The video on demand of this will be up as soon as it's done. Yesterday's, I didn't post it only because of like the first 5 minutes having crap audio, and I was just really embarrassed. So I just didn't do it. What's my box office prediction for Aquaman? I don't know, man. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to go back to Entourage season 1 where they do Aquaman, the movie, and it ends up pulling in $114 million in its opening weekend, beating the first Spider-Man movie, which was the highest grossing opening weekend at the time with 112 million. And so let's go with 114 million as my box office prediction. If it hits 114 million or more than 114 million when it comes out, I'm going to laugh my ass off because it'll be like, holy shit, Entourage called it years ago. What is the Aquaman story going to be? I don't know. I'm not too sure what that is. Any thoughts on MoviePass? Yeah, I've been using MoviePass. I have MoviePass. I've used it. It's really good. Actually, it's super simple to use. I like it quite a bit. And it's one that I would recommend if you are looking to go see movies and looking to go see them for $10 a month. Apparently it's not going away. Apparently they are very much, invested in keeping MoviePass a thing. So, in the game, Wei Shen's 28, Donnie Yen is pushing 60. You know what, man? You know what? It's fine. Yellow don't mellow. Okay. That's look at Jackie Chan, right? Look at Jackie Chan. The thing is, though, I don't know if Star Wars is going to be okay. Keep in mind, it's like this, right? You can have a political belief and you can also separate that from your writing, right? Like you can separate that. And so I don't care what your political belief is, as long as you tell a good story. And if you start trying to interject, it's like the guy, like Jack Posobiec, who was trying to run the dump Star Wars hashtag by claiming that Rogue One had anti-Trump sentiments thrown into it, which it didn't. It was just making crap up. So trying to stir up shit for no real reason. Was I referring to Star Wars detours? Yeah, Oliver, I think that was it. I think that was, is that a thing or whatever happened with that? But I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah. We need the Muppet Babies of Star Wars. Watch, they're going to do a series all about younglings, right? A group of young Jedi going into the academy that was left behind, that was rebuilt by Rey. And she's long gone, and they're going to be like, the trials and tribulations of youth trying to learn what it's like to be Padawan. And you're going to get like a whole bunch of weird shenanigans. It's going to be like Harry Potter for Star Wars. Fuck, that'd make $1 billion. Disney should let me write that. Do I think Star Wars is going to get played out? That's a good question because I don't know. I don't know if Star Wars is going to get played out, man. I don't know. I have no idea. The only way I could look at Star Wars getting played out is, okay, let's kind of break this down. So treat it like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which you have a complete, huge library of stories and characters to pull from, and that they are now becoming almost whole again by getting back X-Men and all those guys. And then you look at like the Kevin Feige being the architect of the MCU and where he wants to take it. Now, in this next phase, these next 10 years, they are going to very much be pushing things to expand out further and further in order to get away from having, a price tag of $1 billion on a movie because everyone has these huge, insane contracts. And I honestly feel like Kathleen Kennedy is just looking at Kevin Feige and taking notes, but doing it in a way that is not the best for the franchise. Now, I'm not against there being 2 or 3 Star Wars films in a year. Not at all. I am all fucking for it, dude. But the thing is that it has to be handled in a specific enough way. One of the reasons why we like the MCU movies the way that we do is because it always feels like they're leading to a larger event, that they're leading to a larger interaction with these big event films, Avengers and all that, Civil War, all that stuff. And if they start kind of leading into that, then we could actually see ourselves not getting played out, but being more and more and more engaged with Star Wars as a whole. But it has to tie in to what's happening in the television side of things. This is where Lucas, if Kennedy wants to play this right, if she wants to play this right, she could freaking out MCU Kevin Feige. Okay, or out Kevin Feige. What she does is she sets up these writers. These writers come in, Rian Johnson, the Game of Thrones guys, whomever. They come in and they set this story, this arc. This arc takes 10 years, because you're seeing articles left and right. Oh, none of us will be alive to see the last Star Wars movie, or none of us will be alive to see the last MCU movie, because that's true. These movies make billions upon billions of dollars. or dollars. You know, my daughter, who's 9 weeks old, is going to end up going to see these movies long after I'm dead, right? And so the idea there is that they need to create these stories, these blocks, essentially, which is what they're doing with the MCU in these phases. I fully expect Lucasfilm to adapt that and to take from that, but also tying into these new shows, which are not going to be then divvied up amongst different divisions. That's something that's hurting the MCU, where you've got Marvel Studios and Marvel Television, and the clashing of that has kept these things apart. But if they have everything running under the same banner, then they're able to bring things in and out, in and out, in and out. And if you look at the success of the CW Arrowverse shows, when they have that constant crossover, we're going to see a fair amount of that. So Star Wars being played out could happen if they keep going down the path of, let's say, The Last Jedi, where the story's convoluted. It makes no sense as to why some characters do what they do. There's a lot that feels like it's cut out. Rian Johnson being a really horrible writer. If they keep going down that pathway, then yes, they are going to straight up screw the pooch. But if they tackle this from a smart perspective, and they start writing stories that have a years-long arc to it, right? Just, and it all interweaving, and they treat it like the MCU, but it's Star Wars. And we get these badass characters, both good and bad, and they can do this. It's not that hard to do. If they can do this and they play it just right, man, imagine the crossover that would happen if they actually did what the MCU said they were going to do and have a complete, cohesive universe. Imagine that. It would be box office gold. And you can have a wide variety of stories that are being told that are constantly weaving in and out. Look at what Game of Thrones, what they're doing with Game of Thrones post the main show, right? You've got 5 spin-off series that they're discussing, 5, that are all going to be connected to everything else that's gone on, right? And so, like, you're going to be able to see how certain things played out, stuff that was mentioned in the show or mentioned in the books. And that is going to be what Star Wars needs to do. So yes, if they can do that, if they can do that and do it right and not let themselves get bogged down by not having this thing well thought out in advance. And I'm not talking flying by the seat of their pants here, like which is what they were doing with the sagas, because episode 9 is supposed to end the saga, the Skywalker saga at this point, meaning that there's no more episodes for a while after that, which is why they're talking about these new series. And so if they can formulate it right, then they've got something good on their hands. And I'm very excited to see what might happen with that. But at the same time, it could also blow up in their face. And to be honest with you, I could see that happening as well, simply because I don't entirely think Kathleen Kennedy is up to the job. I don't. I'm Solo is gonna have to be a win in terms of this Ron Howard coming in. Episode 9 with JJ is going to have to be a win and not just kind of a rehash of Return of the Jedi, which essentially is kind of how The Last Jedi was in certain parts. They need some originality to it, and they need to set these things up. And I think, like I said, if done right, it will be the greatest thing ever. But then again, I also fully realize that I could just be completely blinded by my love of Star Wars and thinking that people at Lucasfilm are competent enough to actually pull this off. See, Heron Gaming News says here, CA, or $5 Canadian, appreciate that. You just watched a Solo trailer and it looks so bad. What about it was bad? Alden Ehrenreich was kind of bad, but the rest of it looked pretty good, right? I'm just saying. Am I confident in J.J. Abrams doing a third film? Yes. Because JJ will make Star Wars great again in terms of being fun, a fun sci-fi fantasy opera sort of thing. That's what he'll be able to do. Whereas The Last Jedi was bleak and depressing, but not in an Empire Strikes Back sort of way. Just in a, oh God, you know, I guess one movie had to be bad. It might as well be this one. Then you've got that. So, do I think that the problems with Star Wars, Lucasfilm, and Marvel Comics are interconnected because Disney or isolated and they don't correlate at all? The problem with Marvel Comics is, again, I think it's like you have okay, so you've got like Marvel Studios and then like Marvel everything else, right? And Marvel Comics, like Marvel as a whole, runs like Marvel Comics and Marvel Television, In the Marvel Studios, it's just that, right? They just do the movies. And so what happens in the comics is not related to the movies at all, and that's why there's a lot of drama with that. But the TV side of things, just I could go through the whole story again about Ike Perlmutter and Kevin Feige, but look it up. It's basically like, look up the beef on Civil War and you'll see what happened with that. And so the thing with Lucas is, you know, their story group wasn't working on the movies. Their story group is writing the books, right? That's what their story group does. I thought their story group was going to be working on the movies, at least helping set up a general outline for where things are to go. That didn't happen. As we learned from them basically going into The Last Jedi with absolutely no rhyme or, you know, nothing to set it up. No structure behind it. They let Rian Johnson do whatever he wants. They let him basically dismantle everything JJ had set up because none of them were looking at that. So when you're not looking, when your story group is not looking at how everything's going to go down, that's when you get into problems, right? Like when you get to the film side of things, which are meant to kind of set the tone, that's when you get into problems. So, yeah, sorry. JJ should wear that slogan on a red hat. Yeah, I'm going to have that hat made and I'm going to wear it to Comic-Con. Right? I'm going to wear it to Comic-Con. If I go. I haven't decided if I'm going to Comic-Con or not yet. But if I go to Comic-Con, then I'll definitely do that. So, okay, we've enough of a detour. Let's jump into the final story here. Where's that at? Oops. Shit. Hold on. I get for not locking these things down. Okay. So, okay. That. Get a drink of water. All right, so I'll do one more story, and then we'll jump into the trailer stuff. Because I know you guys all want to see the trailer stuff. Okay. Yep. This is where we get into the spin for Star Wars, or Solo, at least. This is where the spin happens. This is where we start seeing that things are fine. Everything's okay. Because as it's being reported, Harrison Ford is unofficially involved with Solo, a Star Wars story. And that seems, well, odd to me. Mostly because, well, Harrison Ford has been very open about his dislike of the character and his disdain for coming back into it. In fact, I do believe, and this is just my own theory, that the only reason why he came back to go do episode 7 is because, well, the money, and 2, they killed him off. So he would be able to then relish in the fans being upset that he died. I will fully admit, when Star Wars The Force Awakens was over, about 10 minutes later, I broke down crying outside the theater. I was very upset at that. I make no mistake, which is why I want the Solo movie to be good, and why I do like this story, but at the same time, you can also see what's going on. It says here, for being a notorious grump, Harrison Ford is sure happy to revisit his old characters and cashing paychecks from doing so. He starred in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull 19 years after The Last Crusade, Blade Runner 2049 35 years after Blade Runner, and The Force Awakens 32 years after The Return of the Jedi. Ford has nothing officially to do with Star Wars, Solo, a Star Wars story, but he did consult with the young Han Solo, Alden Ehrenreich, on how to play the notorious smuggler. See, this is where you can start seeing here, basically trying to say, like, oh, Harrison Ford gave his seal of approval, or his stamp of approval to Alden Ehrenreich, and why would this be a necessary thing? Well, for one, it is a cool story nonetheless. You would want the actor who played the iconic role of which you are taking on to come in and say, you did good, I like this kid. But at the same time, how many reports have we seen coming out of Solo production where they had to get an acting coach for Alden Ehrenreich, where they had to get him into he was having trouble performing. They had to go in there and make sure it was done right. If this guy was as good as you know, they're trying to make it out to be, then would this have been a true story? But they're trying to now say that basically Harrison Ford gave him the A-OK, and that's supposed to be good enough. Now, I tell them everything I told you, everything you needed to know. Ford advised his younger self during a lunch meeting, and that you can't tell anyone. Ehrenreich kept his promise. I got to stick to my orders from the man himself. But Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy rang Ford after he met the Hail Caesar star. Now, just again, I'm sure they met and I'm sure they talked and everything else, because I would assume that. But you have to love it here. Tell them I told you everything you needed to know and that you can't tell anyone. It comes across like this playful situation, but at the same time, like if I put on a tinfoil hat, it also comes across to me like it's really. Really? Like, oh, tell them I told you everything, but you can't tell anyone what it is, right? It's like, it doesn't really feel like it's that big of a thing. But Kathleen Kennedy does say this. It was perfect, classic Harrison. Kennedy says, breaking into Ford's signature low-key grumble, good kid, really good kid. She also sent Ford the script, which she said he read and gave a thumbs up, saying, I think being who Harrison is, there is no way he would step into the middle of this and start trying to dictate. Well, yeah, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He wanted Han Solo to die. He wanted Han to die in Empire Strikes Back. He didn't care. And so, you know, I mean, having the moment of him, you know, getting this script and giving it a thumbs up, it wouldn't matter if he would have given it a thumbs up or not. You know, like, oh, well, this is okay. And I have a feeling he probably did give it a thumbs up because Lawrence Kasdan wrote it, and, you know, they've worked together multiple times. I mean, come on. Can you sit there and tell me that he's not going to sit there and read the script of the guy who wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark and not be all like, they've been friends for, you know, for like 40 years and stuff. So, or they've known each other for a very, very, very long time. So it obviously means that, you know, he's going to have a bit more leniency and criticism, I guess, based upon who wrote the screenplay. But if he still gives it a thumbs up, it does come across as being this, as being a thing. Now, here's what, well, let's finish this and then I'll give my thoughts. Kennedy also said Ford gave Ehrenreich the kind of insight which was invaluable. There were several times in the course of making the movie where Alden would actually recount some of the things Harrison had pointed out. I think that was really, really helpful to him. Ehrenreich learned from the man himself, but don't get cocky, kids. Star Wars opens on May 25th. Okay. So I'm sure many people out there are going to be thinking, yeah, this comes across like a studio spin, a way to put out some positive press in order to deflect from any negative criticism the trailer for Solo got. Ultimately, the trailer for Solo was received quite well, with the exception of Alden Ehrenreich. A lot of people are like, the movie looks pretty tight. The movie looks excellently shot. Emilia Clarke looks freaking fantastic in the 3 or 4 scenes she's in. But Alden Ehrenreich came across as odd, right? He did. He came across as really odd to me. I had trouble. I watched the trailer like 4 or 5 more times because I do like the trailer. But I had trouble with that because it's not Harrison Ford, you know? Like I said, Ansel Elgort was, I think, like the other person up for the role. And I think he would have been better after seeing him in Baby Driver, which I recommend if you haven't seen Baby Driver. And so here's my thoughts. What we're going to see here going forward is if they feel that Solo is bad, like bad, and it's not going to live up to the hype that they want, and they're trying to make it work, you will see Harrison Ford start making the rounds, right? This is the first bit of that. Well, he had lunch with Alden before shooting the film to give him the tips and tricks he needs to don the vest to become the rogue smuggler himself, right? That's the first bit of news. Then you're going to start seeing, you know, you're going to have interviews with Mark Hamill coming out saying, oh, well, I met with Alden Ehrenreich before making the movie, and I've seen parts of the movie, and oh my God, he is like a spitting image of Harrison Ford from 1977, just completely like Han Solo. You're going to see a lot of these kind of plays, right? You're going to see a lot of this, and especially if Harrison Ford starts making as aggressive of a marketing move like he did with Force Awakens. Because if you remember when he was promoting Force Awakens, he was happy. He was making jokes about him breaking his leg on the set of the Millennium Falcon. He was joking about all of these things. He was on, you know, making Chewie jokes like on the Jimmy Kimmel show, on Jimmy Fallon, and all these other things. And that was also to play up the fact that he knew he was going to die and he wanted fans to get their hopes up for more Han Solo, you know. And if he starts doing that again, if we start seeing more Harrison Ford than Alden Ehrenreich, then you know they're doing this as a way to put butts in seats. You know that they're going to do this as a way to be a marketing tool and a marketing tool only. And that will be the key indicator as to whether or not this movie is bad. No, seriously, it's like the key freaking indicator on that one. You know, it really is. It really is. It's the key freaking indicator. Just, if they start pushing it, man, that's what's going to happen. That's totally what's going to go down. So, hey, thanks for coming in, Tristan. Appreciate it, man. So I feel like, you know, I feel like they're There's going to be a lot there at play. I know he gets paid. I know Harrison Ford likes a paycheck. I get that. But at the same time, he's worn a shirt that said, like, I was Han Solo in Indiana Jones, and I'm fucking over it. Right? So it's kind of like there are things there where it's not necessarily as cut and dry as you might think. And so I feel like that could be something. And we're just going to have to wait and see what's going on. And so that's something there to definitely consider. Hold on, I'm just getting a message. Okay, we are good. Okay. So yeah. All right. How do you do a one-time donation? David Grant, the best way to do that is to go to streamlabs.com/mundanematt. You can do that, or paypal.me/mundanematt. The links are in the description. I feel like an asshole every time it's all like, come and support me on Patreon, and all that jazz. It's just part of it though, because the adpocalypse has been coming in and just raking me over the coals. So that totally sucks, but I love what I do. And I think it's a lot of fun. And oh, cool. So yeah, there's definitely that. Well, you don't have to click the dollar symbol, because if you do super chat, YouTube takes 30%. By the way, it's actually one of the reasons why you're going to start seeing a lot of people moving away from super chat in the next probably couple months. Because why do super chat? And why lose that 30%? But at the same time, the fans like it, the viewers like it, because you don't have to leave the screen to do it. It works well for mobile devices, so there's definitely that. So any plans to open a PO box? Yeah, if you go to my Twitter profile, the PO box, I have a PO box. I do. I need to make a page for it. I need to do a page with all that shit, like this, like a mundanematt.com/donate or some shit. Streamlabs doesn't take anything. It's PayPal that takes a cut. You think the new Rian Johnson trilogy is dead? Nah, it made 1.3 billion. I made 1.3 billion. I think it's absolutely fine. All right, I want to make sure this is up. I want to make sure that is closed so my girlfriend doesn't keep DMing me. She keeps DMing me while I'm streaming. It's like it's not coming through, but I keep seeing it, so it keeps like popping up on my screen. Okay, let's head over here. I want to see what's going on. We got the Deadpool teaser trailer. So this ought to be a lot of fun. Okay, so that should be good. I just want to test the audio real quick. Okay, that's fine. We'll just start here. We'll start right there. Okay, so Deadpool 2, opening May 18th, 2018. This is a film that I do think will usurp Solo, a Star Wars story. I do. I have no doubt in my mind that this film will kick some serious ass. You're talking about a movie that is a sequel to the one of the highest grossing movies in 2016. I mean, we're almost $1 billion, over 800 million worldwide on a $50 million budget, R-rated at that. We need more Deadpool in our lives, and we're finally going to get it. So let's take a look at this trailer. I'm excited. I have not watched this yet. I've been holding off for this live stream, so let's do it. Yeah. Ooh, cable maybe.
Into war, bred into it.
Oh wow.
People think they understand pain, but they have no concept of it. What's the most pain you've ever felt? Maybe the kind that leaves you more machine than man.
Wait, no, stop! What in the actual ass?
Dale, why are the visual effects not done? It's a metal arm. It's not like we're trying to remove a mustache. Oh, fuck it.
I'll do it myself.
I'm Cable, and I'm from the future, and I like blowing shit up.
Pew, 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 pew. Reach for the sky!
Oh no, Sheriff Deadpool.
You know, you're a lot taller in the...
Shut up, you little asshole. Take this.
Oh! Regeneration powers, activate!
That's not something you say.
Zip it, Cable! I got the stones to help you.
No!
No biting. They're done already? Oh, wow, that was unrealistically fast. Okay, Hit it.
Oh, nice. Damn. Damn.
Your time's up, you dumb fuck.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Okay. That was definitely good. Well, where's that at? Give me that Deadpool logo. All right. Well, we'll leave that up there as a term. That looked solid. That looked very, very solid. A lot of the humor is not as crazy as it was in the first Deadpool trailer, which I saw in Hall H at Comic-Con in 2015. Oh yeah. I'm bragging because that was awesome. But definitely you can see that they are absolutely pushing things to the next level. They are keeping the comedy high, but the action's going to be insane because you got to remember that Tim Miller is a visual effects director, who did Deadpool 1. Here you've got David Leitch, whatever his name is, the guy who came off of John Wick, coming in to do this thing. So I have a feeling we are going to see a lot of hardcore crazy action. And from the looks of that cable fight scene with all those guards, it's going to be pretty violent, pretty crazy. The prison scene looks pretty nuts. Negas on a Teenage Warhead, Colossus, freaking, Dopinder, man, freaking Dopinder's back. And he's driving a cab again, so I'm really wondering how he got out of jail when he kidnapped the suitor for the girl that he likes and everything else. Like, I think it's going to be pretty epic, pretty amazing, and god damn, I cannot freaking wait for this thing. Oh my god, it's going to be so good. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Pretty fantastic. And now we got to the Marvel's Jessica Jones season 2. We'll be going through the Venom trailer tomorrow too. Yeah. I just realized that my logo in the top corner, if you look behind me, my logo kind of looks like a modified Deadpool logo, doesn't it? Looks like a little bit like a modified Deadpool. But I'm not that much of a badass. I just play one on the internet. Yep, that's what I do. All right, let's jump into this one here. Jessica Jones, when Marvel first announced that they were doing the Netflix series and they really wanted to do the Defenders, I was excited for everything. Daredevil season 1 I've already watched it like 4 times. It's an amazing first season. Jessica Jones, I was excited for, but a little apprehensive as I started watching it because I felt like the character was kind of like a one-off character. Kristen Ritter did a good job, but I felt like the show didn't really have like the emotional impact that it needed to have. And it was written by Melissa Rosenberg. She was also the show writer who, did all the Twilight movies. That kind of lets you know a little bit. But at the same time, she also did the first couple seasons of Dexter, so I give her credit there. She's a very talented writer, but Jessica Jones never gripped me. But I did really like the character in The Defenders. And so I really wanted more of Kristen Ritter in the role. And we got ourselves a full season 2 trailer here. And let's take a look. All right, shit's already going crazy.
Tonight.
Put it on my tab.
You drinking to remember or forget?
Giving a shit won't get you a better tip.
I was feeling sad.
All right.
Can't help looking back. Highway.
My whole family was killed in a car accident. Someone did horrific experiments on me. And now this super vigilante shit keeps coming at me.
Do you know Captain America?
I want to absorb Bailey's investigations.
You don't want me, you just want to eliminate the competition.
I never take no for an answer.
How rapey of you. Something happened behind these doors. I have 17 years of questions, and they are deep.
Just knowing what was done to you might help you.
We were made here. Me and something else. The only way to find it is to open the door wider.
You
You were brought back from the dead.
All right.
The powers were a side effect.
How many others are there? Like me?
Let it go.
There is a killer you cannot control.
I didn't ask for any of this.
Jessica might not want a sidekick, but she needs one.
You're not super. You're a ticking time bomb.
Keep telling me who I am. How dare you? What if facing it makes me worse?
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Depends on if I can get through this night without losing my shit.
Jessica Jones!
It takes a monster to stop a monster. What did they do to us?
Oh, you know who that is. You know who that is. All right, when do new episodes come out? March 8th. All right, cool. We got a month ago. March 8th, month ago. Okay, so a couple things. One, it looks like they've really ramped up the drama in this season. They've ramped up the budget from, looks like, some of the effects. At the same time, the writing feels a little bit on the cliche side. And it might just be them trying to push the Jessica Jones mentality through. You know, it's the, oh, I hate everything. I'm a bitter drunk. Of course, she doesn't sound like an English nobleman or whatever. That doesn't sound like a nobleman at all. But the idea there is, you know, like it takes a monster to fight a monster. Yeah, okay, we've heard those kind of lines before. You know, like, what are you gonna do? Try to get through the night if I don't lose my shit or something like that. We've already kind of heard those arguments, those things before. There's nothing necessarily there that like we haven't really heard. But ultimately, the character is where it's at. And if the character has been going on an arc coming off of, you know, Jessica Jones and then the Defenders and then now, we're definitely going to get, I think, a lot more out of her. And I do hope we get some better, you know, storytelling. I liked what they did in the first season. I didn't really feel it needed to be 13 episodes. I feel like they really stretched out the Brian Michael Bendis original story to fit that narrative. And I feel like this one, hopefully because they're going off in their own way, we'll be able to get a lot more. I wonder if Nuke is going to make an appearance. I did like the line there, though, about do you know Captain America? So they are kind of finally acknowledging everything. Because if you remember in the first couple seasons of all the Netflix series, they never directly referenced anyone by name, right? They never mentioned anyone by name. It was always like the event in New York, right? It was the big green guy. It was very subtle references without saying who the names are. And here we've got, do you know Captain America front and center in a trailer, which tells me not at all that they're going to be bringing in these characters into Infinity War, because that's not going to freaking happen, unfortunately. They should totally do it. Totally. What the hell, Marvel, you freaking assholes. Always do it, you know. But I do feel that what we are going to be able to see coming out of this is something good, a good story, which is really all I care about. And I really want to see more from her friend, Trish. Because she comes, I forget who she plays, who she becomes into. But I feel they're going to do that because she's like the whole sidekick comment's going to happen. And again, more Carrie-Anne Moss is always good. Makes me wonder if Foggy's going to make an appearance, given that Foggy is in the, you know, he works for her. So, and also, is Marcy going to make an appearance? I don't know why, but I'd be okay seeing Marcy make an appearance in this. And the thing is, I love the Netflix series. I think what they've done is awesome for their interconnectivity. And what they've done for their interconnectivity is they've modeled it clearly after what Marvel did. But the two need to come together and have little sexy babies. Okay? I want to make that abundantly clear. And the more you tease us like this, and I've talked about this multiple times, but the more you tease us like this is the more frustrating it gets, because everyone's they start getting mad. They just don't want to deal with it anymore. And that is what's going to eventually kill the MCU as a whole, is if they stop keeping it separate while still trying to run under the idea that they're connected, right? Like, stop teasing us, you know? Let us pull out, make a map of Hawaii on your stomach or not. Like, that's it. Otherwise, come March 8th, I'll definitely be checking it out, because it's a Marvel Netflix series. Like, that's clearly what my plans are for that weekend. All right. Purple Man. Yeah, Purple Man. Kilgrave's coming back too. You could see that at the end. Kilgrave is totes coming back, which is cool. How rapey of you? I know. There's a small chance that they might be coming in Avengers 4. Yep. What happened with the Iron Fist TV series? The Iron Fist TV series is done. It came out. The first season did. I know they're shooting season 2. I know that in Luke Cage season 2, Danny Rand plays a pretty big part because they're going to be working on that bromance between them. And I actually really liked Iron Fist season 1, and I loved their interaction in the Defenders. So I'm all down for that. You know, you know what we need? Disney presents Marvel's Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Yes. Yeah. Let's just hope Jones and Luke Cage don't make a baby. We're not going to see that in this at all because he's with Claire. So unless they kill off the Night Nurse, which I don't think they're going to, clearly it's going to be its own thing. So I think we're going to be fine on that one. I think everything's going to be okay. And I think we're going to be working pretty well. But all right, on that note, I can take a couple more questions, and then I do have to go. Just I'm a little bit behind schedule. I want to go check on my daughter, make sure she's fine, and definitely go from there. All right. So starring Ray Park as Danny Rand, yeah. Too bad that Immortal Iron Fist movie that was announced in 2007 never got made. Yeah, I mean, Marvel, I think, was doing a lot of that time. I mean, look at, Edgar Wright's Ant-Man. Do I think what's going to happen with the eventual Disney streaming service, big conflict against Netflix? I think if they hit the Star Wars game right, and they start doing a lot of like X-Men, and they start putting all the TV shows on there, it's going to bite into Netflix's audience. But Netflix, because they have the contracts for the Defenders and those characters, they're going to continuously renew them. Because why not? They're gonna want to mess with Disney a little bit. I can't say that I blame them. What do I think of Runaways? I am like 5 episodes into Runaways. It's okay, but it's not really gripping me. And Cloak and Dagger, as I mentioned earlier, just looks kind of dumb, to be honest with you. So, on The Punisher, I really liked. I totally forgot to review it. I don't know why. Blazed through the whole damn thing in a weekend. Really, really liked The Punisher. Felt the whole thing was grand. Loved John Bernathal's portrayal of it. Wanted a bit more violence, we'll say, but what they gave us was pretty fantastic. And I'm really hoping in season 2 we get the Russian. I think that'd be great. And so, am I going to go see an early screening of Infinity War unless I get invited? No, I'll go see the Thursday night preview, but I won't be able to go see the early screening of it. That won't happen, unfortunately. So here's the thing. Runaways could get better. Runaway could get better as the show goes on. I need to finish watching it, but I lost a lot of interest, as it progressed. I just, but then again, when I was watching it, I also had, food poisoning, or I was coming off of food poisoning. And so I was just kind of there, not necessarily in like the right headspace, so to speak. So I definitely, it may not have been the best thing on the planet. So, I mean, I'll admit that could have been my own screw up there. Let's see. No wrong email address. Hold on. Okay. So yeah. Let's see. Thoughts on Lucha Underground having a tie-in comics? I don't know what that is. Where on earth does Punisher go after completing his arc? There's gonna be something there. Hey, Timon FLP, thanks very much for watching from Brazil, man. So you think we'll get Fantastic Four on the streaming service? I think that's where it's going to appear. Yeah. Or what they're going to do is they're going to build it up on the streaming service and see whether or not it has legs, and then migrate it into the MCU as a whole. Like I said, once they can deal with Ike Perlmutter, once he steps down, once they can handle that problem, and ABC Studios ends up very much kind of being absorbed, or Marvel Television becomes absorbed into Marvel Studios, we're going to see things change. Absolutely going to see things change. In the meantime, it's going to be a tough one. So, I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Okay. So So yeah, all right, guys, I'm gonna take off because I gotta go. I hear her crying right now. I'll be back on tomorrow, hopefully a little earlier than 3. But the way her schedule is right now, like, kids, you know. But if you guys got any movie suggestions, feel free to send them over to me. Topics worth discussing. Additionally, if you missed any part of this broadcast, it will be re-uploaded, as well as individual clips will be snipped out. Also, there's a link for the Discord, my personal Discord, in the video description if you guys want to come in and check that out. Lots of conversation going on in there, and a lot of good place where you can get in touch with me directly if you want to. And in the meantime, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you very much. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.